That should be better. There we go. Back to our Aston Martin run. Did I switch the game that this is set to? Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we are halfway through the season. Not doing too bad. We've actually scored some decent points. But again, it's all about survival right now. Just getting to the end. Lots of things to be done here. Unfortunately, no race, or no rain for the race. But go with 0% setups. Next year's challenges, or next season's challenges have been decided. Going to be a bit of a longer season to play through, but quite an interesting one. I'm really going to push the limits on this stuff and see how far you can get it. As usual, worst possible setups. Okay. Nothing to do there. Bruh. Yeah, I am. Much prefer this. I waited for like 15 minutes in a lobby and nothing was happening. I don't even understand how the game frickin' works. I need to, like I said, I need to spend more time with it before I decide to just stream with it. I did. I joined a beginner-friendly lobby, and then it like sat in session ending for like 10 to 15 minutes. And nothing changed. And then I joined another one, and then it was the exact same thing. So I said, forget it, I'm not wasting my time with this. $51, $50. A little bit of fuel. Not that it really matters. And we're off. Alright, so we are off in 15th and 17th, not a bad start. Losing some time as expected. We're not exactly developing the car anymore. And like I said, unfortunate that there was no rain for the race. We would have been able to take advantage of that. Doing a good job. Piastri and Doohan just kind of fighting it out, defending, attacking, taking advantage of some mistakes by other people. Hey, there we go. How you doing, Swankier? Welcome back. Ooh, safety car. Not that that's going to do us any good. Much better now that we're back on F1 Manager. Feels more like home. So Mick Schumacher out. Shocker. He makes mistakes quite often. Safety car coming in this lap, so we will push with energy for both. See if we can gain any positions. Just try to get some extra experience in. Not doing a bad job keeping up with Joe, Piastri, and Ricciardo, kind of doing some tangoing back and forth too. Up to 11th for the time being, hoping we can at this point. Our only chance is to get a safety car in order to maintain these positions. If not, we'll just fall back down the order, and that is the reality of Aston Martin in 22. Let's be thankful that we have 19 points. We are currently ahead of McLaren, although they are threatening to score some good points today. Do they have to pit? Yes. Yes, they do. Whereas Sainz is about to catch them. And wow, a lot of people starting on the hards this race. Yeah. Aston Martin, double rookie, 0% setup every race run. And we're still going to try and win the championship in 2023. I've added a couple of extra challenges for next season. I want to see how far these mechanics can be pushed without them affecting us. So we'll see how it goes. Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Where do you want from?
I don't know. How far are you willing to travel for me?
Not far, because we have to go to LCBO still.
Yeah?
Oh, you don't have to go out there anyway. You want me to go to Burger King?
You're gosh darn right I do.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Alright.
Thanks,
Love
son.
you.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, my night just got infinitely better. F1 Manager. Burger King. What else can a guy ask for? Oh, that's right. Infinite amounts of weed. And I have that too. Life is looking good, my friends. We'll push on fuel, kind of just let them do what they're going to do. Yeah, Doohan all the way down. I don't know if Piastri is going to be able to catch up to anybody, but we'll just get them pushing anyway. Making some gains to Sonoda. Ooh, he's making headway towards... Does it look like there's going to be a safety car? We gain a few positions. Ooh, Ricciardo making a mistake. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can get to Joe now. Come on, Piastri. At least get into range, brother. That is what it is. We're not going to get there. Ooh, Doohan fighting with Sonoda. That's ideal. Throw him on neutral and let him coast that out. Piastri losing time. That is what it is. He's making a small mistake as well. And now fighting with Magnussen. So I guess in hindsight, not the worst thing to happen, because now he's just going to get little bits of experience for defending and such, which, you know, you take what you can get in these races. Doohan fighting with Sonoda till the end. Ending positions not mattering nearly as much. Haha, right on, brother. Right on. What's your go-to McDonald's food? I'm a Big Mac guy. Love me a Big Mac. Not a fan of that chicken Big Mac either, though. Hey. Oh, man. So we would add a pole position and double points for the last race. I'll vote for that. That'll be fun for next year. Helipad is currently being worked on, so I'm not concerned about it. Do we want to push this to level 4? I mean, for developing next year, it's going to be important. Let's do it. Whatever. memorabilia room. We at least have one now. The morale will help us in the tenths of seconds during pit stops, and sometimes that's all you can ask for. Research complete right after the weekend is over. The tiebreaker voted for, so we've just introduced far more points into next year's game, which is great. Hulkenberg can get a 52 in braking. He really did him dirty with that. He's not that bad a driver. Going to be a sunny day. Sunny weekend, I should say. Unfortunate. Much prefer those wet races where we can score some points. That'll be an irrelevancy at some point. 74, 72%, not bad. We need to go all the way down. You need to go all the way down. All the way up. Sure. That's pretty awful. Send to the race. And we will be off shortly here. What do we got? So lap 36 for you. Lap 29 for you. I know, let's extend that out so we can push on them. Yeah. Let's call it lap 35 for you. It gives us a good chance to extend both of these out, so hit safety cars. Anything like that we'll take advantage of. 0% for both of them because it doesn't give you any sort of number. Otherwise, if it's like 6 or 3%, it will actually show you 6 or 3%. We've learned that the hard way here. No engine wear. We're off to France. I mean, I guess we've already been in France for 2 days, but we're off to the race in France. There we are, all the way down there. Honestly, not even going to use energy. There's no point. No rainy race. No big gains to push for. Just survival. Research project done in tomorrow, actually, after the race is over. So we'll start a new project there. I'm not sure which one that's going to be. I hope it's the underfloor. I'd like to get a new one of those started. And just squeeze in as many of those as we can. So the 2 that we produce next year will turn us into essentially what is a rocket ship on wheels. That plus some focus on the wings. Suspension. We're going to have 15 engineers across 3 projects. That's ideal. So we can go 6-5-4, I think is how we're going to do it. Yeah, 6 always for the underfloor. So you can squeeze in 4 projects throughout the year. 5 for wing, 4 for suspension, chassis, or side pod. That should be optimal because those don't take nearly as long either, right? Another reason why I didn't want them pushing with energy, I didn't want to separate from a crowd this time. I've had races where Duhan and Piastri both, I guess, in instances, have had over 2,000 experience points in a race. So as long as they keep fighting each other, I don't care if they're actually successfully overtaking each other or not. Just keep fighting. Successful defenses are worth just as much. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. I won't have my food for probably another hour, so think of me while you're eating it anyway. Send one out to your brother Nova Wheel. Maybe even eat a fry on my behalf too. I'm really getting greedy. I want a bite of that burger and a French fry. So we are in 17th and 18th. Still kind of just fighting it out. Ooh, and a McFlurry. Oh. We sound like we have very similar tastes in what we enjoy. I'm all about that. I get that. 100%. I was working for a while at a store, or out of a store, I should say, since I usually travel, that was right next to a Burger King. And I'm not gonna lie, I went there like three times a week for like a month straight. And I got a Whopper, no pickles, with cheese. Gotta have the cheese. Combo with a large onion ring, 2 zesty sauces, and then a Whopper Junior with cheese, no pickle on its own. And I ate one of those 3 times a week for a month. And I still love Burger King. It hasn't turned me off from it, so maybe it's meant to be. Yeah, exactly. Food is my love language. I'm convinced. You can get me to do anything with like a pizza, bowl of pasta. I'm not even gonna push on the mediums. There's no point. So for next year's challenges, we're still going to do the 0% setup because I want to see if I can influence our drivers getting 0 track acclimatization and 0 car parts knowledge by not having driven the car during practices. I want to see if that impacts their performance whatsoever. And I figure Aston Martin in 2023 is a good time to do that. Because we know the car will be competitive. So it'll just be a matter of whether or not they can control it, essentially, with no practice and having no understanding of the track. I know they won't get their 15 bonus points, but I don't care about that as much as I do seeing if that statistic actually makes a difference or not. So we've survived another race. Things unfortunately got spread out by the end anyway, but it was essentially inevitable. We stay ahead of Williams, McLaren not scoring any points, Gasly getting 2 points, so they're probably unreachable at this point in the season. Alpine not doing very well either, considering where they start. 4th best car on the grid. You've got your boy Alfonso. Yeah, guys, clap your hands for our fantastic performance. Didn't realize it was so dark outside. So there we are. Yeah, they're 30 points up on us. There's no way we catch them. Not a great race by either means, but I'll take the development points. Tour Center complete. Research project. That is our underfloor project, as I expected. Go research a new car part. Another underfloor. We sure do have time available again. So 3.0 and 40. Again, no reason to ever put any focus into it. The gains are negligible in your sensitivity. or your dirty air cornering, I should say. But the gains are substantial everywhere else when you go hard focuses to those sides with no airflow sensitivity focus. You see we're going up 8%, and then pretty solid numbers across the board there. Another 73 days, which is the usual. We should even be able to squeeze one more of them in before the end of the year, which would be ideal. Another research project done is our chassis. What do we still need to work on? So I think, okay, we need a front wing project. We'll get that done now. So yeah, then everything except for the underfloor will have one. They'll be on 2 at that point. And then we'll look at the suspension again. Now, definitely worth looking at. Even still, it's really not, is it? For the gains that you see in clean air. And the top speed goes up. Cornering goes up by 0.003, 0.004, and 0.004. I'll leave brake cooling the way it is. So these are essentially, so quite literally, this is what next season's car is going to start at, and then these are the gains. So this is where it will start at instead. It quite literally just improves next year's car, and then those things don't carry over to the following year. So you have to constantly have a balance of development plus research, right? Always looking at next year's car versus. Yes, research is very important. It's the only way. So essentially, if I were to do this run and not do any research and only focus on developments, your car would essentially, every time there's a technical reset, it would just reset at the end of the year and you'd be right back to square one. Maybe not so important if there's not big technical changes, like if it's just a cooling focus change or whatever. But it's still ideal to want to research for the next year. I typically go halfway through the season. And there's a reason why research is important and also not obsolete either, because you could just design constantly and get a better car that way, or just research without designing even. But there's kind of a nice flux. So when you're designing a car part, which I can't show you right now, which is unfortunate, but the more you design a car part, you'll see it when I start the next season, the more you design a car part, the less gains you get obviously from it, every sequential design in the same year, because you're within the same regulations and there's only so many changes you can make to a part, right, before it's optimized completely. So when you go that route, and then you're using your CFD and wind tunnel time to boot, you're kind of just accelerating that process. It's not... So like you get a better single piece. I don't know, if you compare it to F122, it's essentially the difference between like a minor, a major, and an ultimate, right? Some people dump all their stats into one. Makes it an ultimate upgrade. I prefer to go the 2 major route. I find that's slightly better gains across the board. But where I'm going with this is you can only design a piece so much before even hard focusing all of the topics still results in a negative gain from where it was, because you've researched that, or you've designed that part as much as it can be designed. So essentially research is saying, okay, this is as far as we've gotten down this tech tree. Let's look at new tech trees for next year to see if there's ways to make it more efficient. And in this game, that's just always a 100% success chance that the research is going to work. You can't go the wrong way. You can't pick the wrong philosophy or the wrong strategy. So it's literally just as if you're like Mercedes in 2014, where you've just nailed the regulations completely and there's nothing. Nobody can stop you. Yeah. Big things coming though. I think I talked to you about this yesterday. There's the open wheel simulator manager that is coming sometime in the next handful of months, which is going to be cool. And then F1 Manager 23 is rumored to be coming out late August, early September, which would also be pretty neat. So it would probably be a busy few months of open wheel manager games to play and figure out. This comes down, this comes down. Well, that's a bad setup. Huh. You can only make it so bad, I guess. Based on their desires, I'm sure that one of these is going to be at like 3 or 6%. Yeah, 2 and 6, right? Doesn't matter how bad you actually make it, it's never bad enough. Softs to hards. Probably just go mediums to hard for both. Pit Piastri a lap earlier. No overfueling, nothing to do here. Just about survival. So I'm going to get this race going. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a pretty good Friday night to me. Now, if only there were more people here for you to moderate. One day, my friend. One day. I got my YouTube channel set up now, so I've actually posted the first 2 parts of this Aston Martin run to my YouTube channel, same name, Nova Wheel. Link is somewhere on my channel as well, I think. So throw a follow over there if you haven't, and then we'll kind of just, you know, double dip on videos on both sides until we get more popular. It's unfortunate the F1 Manager subreddit doesn't allow you to post advertisements for streams. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Right. While this is happening, I don't have pit stops for another 17 laps. 18 laps, okay. I will be right back. Hold on. Oh, that's hitting me like a truck. Holy smokes. Up to 12, actually quite impressive. People must be making mistakes, or everybody started on softs. I'll probably end up down in like 18th again. Oh, 15th so far. Not bad. 17th ending, actually. So it makes sense. Go a second ahead of Ricardo. Coasting through another race. Piastri, I'm not sure if he can catch up to Norris. We'll give him some energy. Let him try. Guess you guys can push on fuel now too. Catching Norris quite easily there. Even if he doesn't lose him, I just want him to stay with him. Fight. Come on, Ricardo. Get closer. Oh my god, Ricardo, you're useless. Okay, never mind, you're fighting him. You guys are doing good now. Getting those scraps. And Piastri actually up in 13th for whatever reason, not like he belongs there. But not a bad effort. And fighting with Alfonso. Again, now losing time to Ricardo. Energy should try to bring him back. He's trying his darndest anyway. Oh, he's closing up the gap a little bit. Doohan makes a mistake. Sure did. It's okay. That's what these races are for. Get it out of your system so we can win next year. Piastri immediately losing a whole bunch of time to Mr. Schumacher. Magnussen scoring points, neither of the McLaren scoring points, Gasly scoring more points, definitely keeping them out of range for us. We end in 14th and 18th. I will take the experience points. Hopefully we got some good ones. Not bad. Slightly better. Not up to their potential though. Weather center complete. High confidence. We'll take the 1.5 mil. They were happy with that race. For some reason. I would not have been. Staff, nothing. Another research project complete. It's the rear wing, so we can take a look at researching another suspension upgrade. Go. 35 days. Easy peasy. Team hub upgraded. A CFD simulator upgraded. That's going to be fantastic for next year. Boardroom Pork Edition, 250 grand to reset that. That's not a big deal. Race simulator is getting there. 8 million to upgrade it though to max level. not going to need any of that. Oh, we do have extra development points again. Up to a 93 braking. He is going to be very fast. And we actually have a few points, so pit crew management. So everything's at least in the 80s now. We're going to work on the downforce speeds. And that's up to an 85, so I'm quite pleased with that. We'll get these up to 80, rear wing up to 83 for some symmetry. We'll go from there. Down the Belgian Grand Prix. Another dry race, unfortunate. Some people taking penalties. We are electing not to. So we don't have to yet. Good enough. That's probably optimal, so that should be bad again anyway. But it won't be perfect. And by perfect, I mean it won't be 0%. So, take that with a grain of salt. Seven and 6. Yeah, we'll go softs to hards for you. Let's get nice and aggressive on those softs. And we'll do like a nice soft to medium stint for you. So you never take the slowest tires. Nah. Okay. And we're off to the Belgian Grand Prix. Doohan and Piastri swapping positions. Piastri the only one on hards. Really playing the... If a safety car is going to happen, it's going to happen within the first 36 of 44 laps, right? More than likely, unless Latifi pulls another Latifi. Sainz making a mistake, ending up in last. Hey, enjoy, my friend. The day's about to get a lot better. Wow, I'm way too high. What a trip. Doohan pits into last. Piastri's like, what do you mean my tires are still... in the prime of their life, and he's already gone through a whole soft set. Sonoda spinning, but not quite getting us to him. Sainz is going to pass us, that's inevitable. Defending for our life, though, is Piastri. Really keeping Sainz behind, stopping him from making any sort of advance. That was amazing. Probably stopped him like 3-4 overtemps in a row. Yeah, and Sainz just shooting up the order now because that Ferrari really is fast. Piastri making a mistake, falling all the way back down to 17th. Halfway through the race, or just a little past. Tire wear is going nicely and as projected. At any point we can slap on a fresh set of something if there's a safety car. And Doohan's already pit, but you know he's in last, so or second last. So realistically, throwing another set of tires on him wouldn't make much of a difference either. Nobody's been lapped yet, though Perez looks like he makes a mistake. Oh no, Doohan spins. That's not a big deal. He's still on last, second last. It was Perez that crashed. Yeah, it was. Okay, I was right. So he has to pit. Go to first. Snow to pits. Up to 17th. Pit window's coming up. I'm surprised we haven't seen more than like 2 safety cars this entire season. Very clean racing going on. Not that I'm complaining, it's just bizarre. Piastri in last, but just gonna give it his all on these tires for a little bit. Should be able to pass him immediately. Actually struggling to get around Latifi here on 2 compound better tires, and then making a mistake. Now he's got to catch up to Latifi again, and does that within like 2 laps. But come on, dude. It's Latifi. How can't you pass Latifi? It's Latifi. What is happening? Dude, it's the worst driver on the grid. See? This is why I talk about intangibles. Doohan would not have had that issue. The difference of a 63 to a 71 overtaking is huge. This is why Doohan is superior. Oscar Piastri just proved it to us. Yeah, what a shit race. How many failed overtakes did you have? You had some good successful defenses. But yeah, you didn't have a good race whatsoever. Quite disappointing. Gearbox is in poor condition. We've got a race coming up in yada yada. No development points. Nothing here. Nothing going on here. Car development facilities. Wind tunnel is going to be done in a week. Design center's done in just under 2 months. So having the 15 engineers is going to make a huge difference for next year. That's kind of a greedy thing, but we are already up to 21 million again. So it's not like it was the worst decision to make. Tour center's fine, memorabilia room's fine, helipad is good. upgrade this again. Maybe I should look at both of these. Yeah, they're going to need upgrades soon too. So we'll drop the 18 mil, get our cooling up for free. Back down to 3 million, but gotta spend money to make money. It's a basic principle. Damn, another rainy qualifying and not a rainy race. That is very unfortunate. We've not had the luck of wet races. We have not had the luck of safety cars this year. A total of 2 so far in 14 races, which is wild. People taking penalties, we're probably going to have to as well at some point. Huh. I don't think that's going to be the right way to do this. It's got to be this way, yeah. This should go up too. No, because that's going to put that right in range. This has to stay here. It's only going to be bad anyway. This will be awful, 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 and awful. So, you know, you take what you can get. I don't want to say I'm a master of setups, but I'm been known to get a 0% or 2 in my time. Yeah, 4%. Straight up 0%. Man hates the setup. It is as awful as it can be. Yeah, we revel in those when we get them. Both of us with penalties needing to be taken. I say, run them into the ground. What difference does it make? Yeah, you don't have the tire wear for that. I mean, you technically don't either, but I want to put you on different strategies for the sake of it. And we're off. And we go to 16x speed, and we are off. Doohan immediately getting overtaken by Latifi and Magnussen. And losing time to both of them. I mean, he is on the mediums, everybody else, both of you guys are on the softs. Nobody electing to go hards. Oh, Doohan having the race of his life. With all these engine issues. Man's like, I don't know how to drive a car that's breaking down on multiple faucets. My daughter's yes, I play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. Mass Effect Andromeda and the original trilogy as well. What else do I have on my desktop? Outer Worlds, Grim Dawn. What do you want to see? KOTOR and KOTOR 2 are unarguably the two greatest RPGs ever made. KOTOR 1 being my favorite because I do love F1 Manager. I just love F1 in general. I'm getting an F1 tattoo at some point. I'm just finishing up my Star Wars half sleeve. So right here, I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it up here. There's a little TIE fighter. And so the rest of the arm is getting covered in like an 8-bit Star Wars sleeve. It's going to be neat. And then on the other arm, I'm going to have some F1 stuff. Oof, we're having a rough race. That's fine. Star Wars was a pivotal part of my childhood. The things that I have tattooed on me are things that I have spent. I'm 30 now, or almost 30. I can't believe I said that. I'm 28, so settle down a little bit. But these are things that, KOTOR is something that I played for the first time when I was 6, and some of the lessons that I learned from that game are things that still stick with me to this day, and so I have them tattooed on me. So like I've got the Sith code, I've got the Jedi code. I played World of Warcraft since vanilla, and the story of Arthas, the Lich King, and his descent into madness, and his the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and all that kind of good stuff. Stories that I heed to, and they pay me great dividends in life, through my professional life, as well. But yeah, no, all important things to me. Everything that I've ever put on my body is something that I've thought out quite extensively, and things that, like I said, I believe in, or are lessons that I don't want to forget. Essentially, it's not the games; it's the messages and the lessons behind it. See, if you don't understand what I'm talking about and you're just seeing it at face value, then this conversation will be too difficult to have. It's the lessons. It's the fact that Arthas was a good man and a respected leader and did everything in his power to protect his people, and by doing so, fell into madness, and ended up sacrificing his own people. And it's a huge lesson on being mindful of where you're at and what you're doing, regardless of what's happening around you, and not being consumed by the love that you have for other people, because again, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And you think that you're doing everything right, and then you end up going in the complete opposite direction. They're just important life stories. And then also it looks cool. So, because my entire back is covered in one giant tattoo, which was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm even getting a Kung Fu Panda tattoo at some point, because there was an awesome lesson in Kung Fu Panda 3, and I watch it all the time with my kids. They love it to death. That was so meaningful to me in my professional career that I implemented it in a sales, to a sales team, and it's actually helped them develop quite nicely. So, lots of good messages everywhere if you're looking for them. You just have to be open-minded enough, right? You get the development point. No development points for you guys, so we will continue on to Monza. What do we have here. Wind tunnel is done too now. That's nice. Alright, well, I think I'm going to save here. Let's take a look at where we at too. Just we've got 8 races left, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 7 races left, including this one. So we are almost at the end of the season. We just powered through another 5 races there. So I will be back actually in probably a little while. I'm just gonna eat, get a little higher, because I have kids and I work around their schedule. It's not easy for me to just have one big one when I've got 4 kids that are awake and hungry and needing attention and stuff. And on top of that, I have other priorities in my life. I have work calls to make, things to do, so I squeeze out an hour using time management. Stream for 1 hour, post it to YouTube. Stream for an hour, post it to YouTube. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Spreads out the content a little bit. Anyway, thanks for joining. I'll see you guys in a little bit.